What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and in this video I'd like to discuss the coming weeks and what they mean for the crypto markets. Not only that, but I'd also like to discuss my end of year kind of view for the crypto markets going into January and even end of cycle stuff. We can get into that maybe later in this video. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe. The purpose of this video is generally it's really to prepare you mentally and even emotionally for what's coming over the next couple of weeks, right? And then we're going to prepare ourselves with that by being aware of what's coming, but we're also going to prepare ourselves with that by looking forward and seeing what has yet to come in this bull market. Okay, we are very much still in the bull market. The bull market is very much still alive and well, but there are some things that I want you to be aware of, especially first timers in this space. Even if it's your second or third time, these kind of thoughts that I'm going to share with you, I think are important to keep close to mind, close to heart. That way you don't get shaken out by these insignificant drops, let's call them. Okay, so before we get too much further into it, I do want to pull up the chart here, BTC. I made a video earlier today talking about how we are expecting Bitcoin to go lower, right? I don't think that low at 107.3K is going to hold. We've been bearish over the past couple of days as well, thinking that we would come back down and see a lower low. My expectation is, we've got the FOMC meeting on the 16th and the 17th of this month. That's right over here, right? 16th is right here on that Tuesday, 17th here. Wednesdays, by the way, Wednesdays the 17th have been pretty big days predominantly throughout this whole year and really throughout this cycle. We've seen Wednesdays be some pretty big days, Tuesdays, Mondays as well. I'm expecting that what's going to happen is we're going to move down going into this. I don't think it'll be completely in this channel. I don't think we will see prices below $100,000, but I do expect we'll go probably to about $105,000 to $104,000. At least something below 106K is what my thoughts are. Once we find our low, which perhaps might be sometime next week, I would think it's sometime next week we find our low, we'll likely move sideways, and there will be a lot of bearish sentiment. I'm expecting there to be some kind of lull period right before this FOMC meeting. And if there's not a lull, if instead we just continue to drop at a very concise kind of slow bleed down into this FOMC meeting, regardless of if it's a slow bleed down or we find our low sometime next week and then we just kind of move sideways and meander into this meeting, I expect there to be a lot of negative sentiment, right? We're going to get negative sentiment. It's going to be charged up as we continue to go down. Every move up is going to have positive sentiment. That was the low. That was it. And sometime next week, I think people will start to be right with that. We'll probably be calling for the low to be in sometime next week as well. If not, if things don't look good, maybe it will be closer to that FOMC meeting date or maybe even on the 16th or 17th as it stands. But I expect that we're going to move down going into these rate cuts because I think there are a lot of people who presume, rightfully so, that these rate cuts are going to have a positive impact on the market. I think there's a lot of people who presume, rightfully so as well, that they will have a negative impact in the short term, but a positive impact in the long term. And then there's some people who are just completely false-minded that think that these rate cuts mean the death of the bull cycle and that we're going to crash because of this, right? I don't think we're going to crash. I think the crash has already happened. And that's kind of the main purpose of what I'm trying to discuss here, is that once we get down to these levels, which we're essentially down at right now, right? We're basically right there, but 105, 104, maybe $101,000 itself, or 106,000 at least. Once we're down at these levels, I expect people to be manic, absolutely manic. There's going to be an intense amount of panic in the space. Maybe people are going to be louder. The bears are going to be the loudest. The bulls are going to be the quietest. So whenever it comes to social media and media as a whole, you're going to hear a lot of negative, pessimistic things and reasons to validate their views, right? It's important to, for one, have conviction in your plays, right? Don't let random people online influence your decisions, right? If you believe that the markets are going to go down and you want to get out, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, do what's best for you. But I think that the worst thing to do right now would be to sell out of crypto, to have no exposure in the markets, to be anything but fully, absolutely allocated to the floor with crypto right now. I think that we are about to see the most spectacular phase kick off, and this end of year, going over the next couple of months and into the end of the year, even into January, I think we're going to see a very spectacular finale phase of this cycle. I don't think the cycle ends until early 2026, if not even mid 2026. I think that we have a lot of growth to go. It's been a lot of people say that this cycle's different, and then some of the OGs will be like, no cycle's different. This cycle's different. This is my third bull cycle, and I can tell you firsthand, this cycle's absolutely different. If you want to say it's not different, you're ignoring the charts, the data, right? Things are absolutely different. We've seen the longest stint without an alt season this cycle, right? This is the longest stint by far. That's different, right? We've seen the DXY crash, and Bitcoin didn't really rally that hard, which is kind of different. We've seen Bitcoin consolidate several times for 3 months or more. And we've never seen that before. But normally it's like once or twice. But we've had like 3 or 4 instances of that. I think we're on our 4th or 5th one right now. We've had more instances like that. We've moved. We haven't had this parabolic blow off top kind of movement yet. Okay, and we've just been moving at a very, very steady pace. The cycle is already projected, and I think in a lot of different contexts, it's already longer than any cycle we've seen before. I don't think that the 4-year cycle theory is going to go away. I think that there will be, with the dynamics of the halving at play, I think that will always be a thing. So in that sense, from a cyclicality standpoint, there will be similarities to every single cycle, right? Every cycle will be the same to some degree as far as like that goes. But I do think this cycle's different. And with that very true and obvious fact at this point, I think that it's absolutely obvious. I would expect that we continue to rally into 2026. So again, back to the main point, the main purpose of this video, I believe that there's going to be a lot of negative news and negative context that comes out over the next week or two going into this FOMC meeting. Okay, if we look back here, we look back at what happened here, and we pointed this out whenever it happened, but it's been so long now. It hasn't really been that long. It's only been like a month, but it's been so long now that people might forget. You know, up here, the news, CNBC, CNN, your favorite or least favorite crypto influencer, everybody was super bullish on Bitcoin. Everybody was super bullish right here. So bullish. There's nothing but bullish news coming out. And I kept pointing out, I'm like, this is kind of odd. This isn't what you want to see. You want there to be negative news at the lows, right? If we're at the high to low, you want there to be negative news, not positive news. When did the negative news come out? We had a bunch of negative news. And if you guys remember, we pointed it out down here. We had a bunch of negative news here. And it was no surprise that we actually moved up, right? Then all the positive news came out. And unfortunately, as we move down, we still have a bunch of positive news. Now, the news today, I was looking at it, there are still a lot of positive stories, but it's becoming a little bit more neutral. What I'm expecting is just like here, and probably just like here, and probably just like the lows here, man. We're going to have the most amount of negative news that we've heard really since the beginning of August, and over a month. It's going to happen at these lows, okay? And that's how you will know that it's time to buy, it's time to hodl, it's time to lock in, as people are saying these days, right? It's really time to lock in, and don't let the media fade your convictions. Don't let them, or don't let the media allow you to fade your convictions, right? They can fade your convictions all they want, but don't let that change anything in you. You're a human being. You're going to feel emotions. You're going to feel doubts and uncertainty, especially so if this is your first bull market, especially so if you have less experience doing this kind of stuff, right? It's nerve-wracking at times. But if we look at this to soothe your nerves, let me just pull something up real quick. If looking at this is another thing that we talked about. I forget in what video I talked about this. But these are the bull market peak indicators. The red X means they have not hit yet, right? So typically all these indicators here, whenever you get the green check, whenever it's hit, that means, or is it a green X? I don't know. Is it a green X or a green check? I forget. But whenever they get hit, that means that we are at the end of the cycle. We're in the 100% of the hold scale versus the sell scale. This goes down the more of these indicators that get hit. The Bitcoin Pi cycle top has been perfect every single time. The Peel multiple has been perfect as well. The Bitcoin rainbow chart, perfect. I don't know which this one is right here, but I don't know a lot of these, but MVRV score, perfect as well. A lot of these have been very, very accurate and like incredibly accurate over the cycles, and not a single one. You can see every single indicator that we literally have, not a single one has been hit yet, has been achieved. So, and this Pi cycle top is definitely one to pay attention to, I think. But anyways, the fact that none of these cycle top indicators have flashed yet, and a lot of them do happen to front run the top. They don't time it perfectly, but basically they're pretty damn good. Gives me the absolute impression that we have a lot more growth in this market to go, right? We have $20 billion in shorts that are piled on right now over the past 30 days. The longs are decimated. We have shorts outweighing longs to like a 6-to-1 ratio or like a 5-to-1 ratio right now. The top is not in. And I'm saying this right now, this same speech that we've been given over the past couple of weeks now, I'm saying this because we are about to get into that moment where the media is going to try and play the mind games with you, okay? They're going to share things that are true to some degree, right? There's truth in it, but the emotions they generate, the thoughts that they generate within you are not going to be true. They're not going to be valid. The media is not there to help you. It's there to engage you. It is there to trigger a response within you and maybe even make you make the wrong decision at the low points, right? You don't hear positive news at the bottoms. You only hear it whenever we're moving down or when we're at the tops. You don't hear negative news at the tops. You only hear it at the bottoms. That's just how it is. The media is not there to help you. And in fact, if you want it to help you, you'd be better off doing the opposite of whatever emotional feelings that the media ignites within you. But my thoughts are just have conviction, buy the dip, hold if you don't want to buy more. If you want to just hold, do whatever you want to do. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If you get shaken out, if you want to sell out and you're just done with crypto, I get it. You know, it's everybody has that, but mark my words, you'll be kicking yourself hard if you're not sitting in this market over the next couple of months. Whenever we have probably the most spectacular rally throughout any market in the world for what's to come over the next like 4 years. This next, I would say is it September, October, November, December, 3 to 9 months. This next 3 to 9 month period, quarter of a year to 3/4 of a year period, is going to be some of the most spectacular times to be involved in crypto. And the media is going to try and throw you off so that you're not a part of it, right? The institutions are getting in. We've seen more inflows from institutions than we ever have before. This is the institutional cycle, and if you buy into the media, you're just selling to them. They're going to buy it up. Absolutely, they are. So don't make the wrong decisions. Just hold. And again, the main purpose of this video is to make you aware of the kind of psychological warfare that's going to come over the coming weeks. You're probably going to hear, not this week, but probably over the next couple of weeks, we'll give another discussion just like this to kind of remind you, it's psychological warfare. It's a giant psyop. So just hold through it, buy more. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Take care of yourselves. All right. Bye-bye.